And I tell Leah, I'm like, get him off the steps. So while I'm using the bathroom, like I just hear like a thud sound, and then I hear like a muffled cry. So then when I get done using the bathroom, I go downstairs and I see her, like she hurries up, put something in her purse.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking at Dante, and he's staring at her, but in the pose that I noticed the first time that I met her, when she applied makeup to his face before.
Now I don't want to do it, but I ain't afraid to die. Lord knows I ain't perfect. I ain't trying to tell a lie. It's understood and I ain't hearing all that woulda, coulda, shoulda. Trying to say you want peace, then you burn the.
It was my God's honest that I was all about a non-violent approach, but it seems truth is a non-topic.
She says she has $20 left out of like I think it was like $90 I gave her.
Oh Lord.
Wow. You think she had a drug problem or something?
I personally never saw her do drugs. She never asked me if I can get drugs. But the day that I gave her that money and I picked her up, I could tell like she was on something. You know what I mean? I just don't know what she was on.
She hung out with people who did drugs too.
Right.
So
It was a high that I never saw before.
huh.
I mean, so I don't. But I mean, I knew she did. You know, they say Molly, but it's fake Molly. I know she does that or did that. Well, she bragged about doing that or something. But like I said, I personally never saw her. You know, I smoke weed, and every time I smoke, she never asked for none. You know what I mean?
Huh.
So
now, yeah, I guess we covered everything I was thinking of then. So I guess let's go to the day of then. I know it's hard to talk about.
All right, so because of that text that she sent me on the 5th, I felt bad. So I texted her. I was like, yo, I got some errands to run. I'm going to come get y'all. So I went, picked them up. We went to one job. I picked up my paycheck. Then on the way to Walmart, like to cash my check, I kept looking, I looked back and I noticed Dante's eyes were on the back of his head. So like I snapped my fingers at him. I'm like, Dante. And he looked at me and I'm like, are you all right? And like he just looked at me and put his head down. So I went back to texting on my phone and I looked back again and he was doing it again. So I snapped at him again and I asked him the same question. I was like, are you all right? He looked at me and put his head down. So then I went back texting on my phone and then I looked back again when we're in the parking lot and he did it the third time. So then I say to Leah, I'm like, hey, is he all right? I mean, his eyes are on the back of his head. And she did admit on stand at trial. She replied back with, he's being a little bitch. It's his infection.
Yeah, she talked about him in that way quite often.
I said to her, she needs to stop calling him out of his name like that. And I left it at that. Like she didn't seem concerned. I wasn't there for that. I just thought I was doing him, getting him out the shelter. The mother don't seem concerned. So if she don't seem concerned, then maybe it is his penis. And if my thing looked like his, my eyes would probably roll back in my head too. You know what I mean? Like that's how bad it was.
Was it herpes or was it like a rash?
No, it was herpes and the rash. But like I said, York Hospital never ran tests on his area.
They found out it was herpes till his autopsy.
Yeah, they didn't. No. Hershey Medical stated.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
in their report that he started showing symptoms 2 weeks prior to him being in the hospital.
Oh.
And then they break down the incubation period. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, well, Leah stated on the news that, to me, I assume she said that I gave him that.
Yeah.
So how can you give somebody something that he started showing symptoms 2 weeks prior of him being in the hospital? That was, that don't fit in my timeline. And plus I don't have it.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he couldn't have got it to 6 because that's not 2 weeks of being in the hospital. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and this is that's Hershey Medical's finding. They also found a broken wrist. He had a broken wrist that was like between 2 to 3 weeks old. It was already in the healing process. Again, that was out of my timeline, you know.
Right.
All right, so back to the 6 now.
Yeah.
After you know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take him in the Walmart, you know, get air conditioning. Yeah, I mean, get him some fresh air. So, which Leah, she never, you know, anytime we ever went to the store, she never wanted to go in, which I'm cool with that, you know. So, you know, she decided that she wanted to, you know, come in at that time. So when we go into Walmart, I go to the check cashing, you know, where you go to cash your check, and she walks him into the bathroom. And while she's walking him to the bathroom, I'm telling her, like, I'm like, let him stay in a line with me. And she's like acting like she can't hear me, and she keeps walking. You know what I mean? Like Dante's he's not potty trained, and she don't, you know, it's not like she takes him to the bathroom and, you know, make sure he pees in the toilet. You know what I mean? She'll let him, obviously. So I didn't understand why she was taking him to the bathroom anyway, but, you know, it's right after I bring her to her attention that his eyes are going to the back of his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So after Walmart, we go to my bank. They stay in the car. I come out the bank. We go to Denny's, another job I was working at, to get my schedule. They stayed in the car again. So then from Denny's, we went to Burger King. I ordered burgers, which we'll discuss that when we talk about my trial about the burgers.
Yeah.
So then after that, we go to the house I was staying at, and, you know, we eat. I put the movie Trolls on, and we eat. Well, Dante's eating, and like he kind of gags. So I'm thinking that like he's taking too big of a bite of bites. So I start breaking his burger up, and I'm giving it to him. You know what I mean? And then he tried swallowing it, and then when he did, like he kind of like, he didn't throw up, but he threw up the burger. You know what I mean? Like, and slobbered.
Put it up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was red, but I don't know if it possibly was ketchup, but I don't, you know what I mean? Like, which I told
It
the
didn't
cop.
look like blood or anything.
I don't, not really. I don't. It was. I know.
Probably knowing that.
Yeah, because I mean, I was right there, so it's like. But
Yeah.
again, I can't be 100% and say it wasn't.
Right.
I mean, so we start watching the movie, and every time, like, you know, I would go outside to smoke a cigarette, like Dante would come with me. You know, so, you know, we'll go out back. And it's sliding doors. I mean, like, Leah can see directly outside. She can see Dante sitting in the chair. I'm sitting in the other chair. You know what I mean? And then when we come in, I go to the bathroom downstairs. He follows me. So, you know, he's standing like by the door. And when I'm done using the bathroom, I wash my hands. And then he comes up and he goes, because, you know, again, he can't talk. He goes, like that. Like, so I pick him up, and he starts washing his hands. You know what I mean? So we go back in the living room. We start watching more of the movie. 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, I have to go to the bathroom, the real bathroom. So I've
been reading my transcripts for days. I know every detail.
The private bathroom.
Oh yeah. Holt just said that because I was with my civil lawyer, and Holt just said that. Holt's like, man, if anybody knows his case, he knows his case. He's like, he knows his case better than I did.
Yeah. Well, shit, you had a lot of time to think about it.
Right. Yeah. So I go upstairs, and as I'm going upstairs, Dante, like, he gets on the one step because you go up a step and then you go up, you know, it leads to other steps. So I tell him to wait, and I tell Leah, I'm like, get him off the steps. So while I'm using the bathroom, like I just hear like a thud sound, and then I hear like a muffled cry. So then when I get done using the bathroom, I go downstairs and I see her, like she hurries up, put something in her purse.
Oh yeah.
And I'm looking at Dante, and he's staring at her, but in the pose that I noticed the first time that I met her, when she applied makeup to his face before. You know, like when I first met her, I think I forgot that part. I first met her, I told her, I was like, you know, I can't be around y'all and this kid got bruises on him. You know what I mean? Like people's gonna look at me like I did that. You know what I mean? I'm like, I've been in a situation where, you know what I mean? Like people got in trouble for that. You know what I mean? Not reporting that, or you know, so it's like that's when the first time I noticed that she ever put makeup on his face. You know what I mean? I didn't say nothing because again, I believed that what she was telling me. So then when I seen that again, and then I noticed that she put something in her purse, like it threw my train of thought off, because I live with somebody. I live with one of my good friends, and you know, she has stuff, she leaves stuff, you know, money, jewelry, whatever, you know, on her coffee table. So like now I'm assuming that she stole something, which threw me off of wondering what the thud sound was, and threw me off of, you know, just Dante just standing there like that. So anyway, I go downstairs and I sit down, and that's when Dante came over and climbed on me. And I guess that's where that picture came from, because I didn't even know Leah took that picture.
Yeah.
The picture where he's laying on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know she took that picture. There's like 2 or 3 pictures that she's taken of me and Dante, and all 3 pictures is Dante's laying on.
Yeah.
And these are 3 different occasions, and none of them occasions I'm looking at the camera or posing. You know, so after that, you know, I was like, she was like, I gotta go to the hospital. I got a migraine. Can you take me? Can he stay with you? And I wasn't, you know, I wasn't thinking right at the time, you know. So I just agreed. You know what I mean? Like I just said, yeah. Not thinking that I live right beside
migraine all day at all, right?
Right. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I was so distracted. Even throughout that day, I was so distracted because I was in a conversation with one of my kids about something, you know, and that's where my attention was that whole time.
Yeah.
I believe even in that picture, that's who I was texting was my daughter. You know what I mean? And so like my train of thought wasn't there. And then on top of that, I'm still wondering if she stole something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like
sure,
I just said, yeah. Right. I just said, yeah, he can stay. I mean, not even thinking like, damn, I didn't even ask, you know, my friend that I live with. I just said, yeah. So anyway, when I put him down, he threw up liquid. So as I'm like, I get something to clean the floor, she's rushing him out the door. So I didn't have enough time to really actually clean it up good. So again, I wasn't thinking. She drove, you know, from the house on her way to the hospital with this crazy migraine.
She drove?
Yeah, she drove. But
I didn't know she drove.
Yeah, but she made a stop at the shelter. She said that she needs to go to the shelter so she can get his prescription.
Oh, okay. Now she cares someone.
So she, you know, she stops at the shelter, and then she comes back and she don't have nothing in her hand. So now I drive and she's in the passenger seat. So then we drop her off at the hospital. So then on our way back to the hospital, well, from the hospital, we stop at Rutter's. Mm-hmm. Now, when I was getting Dante out, he went to the floor of my car. hold on. I gotta text you real quick. I gotta text you something real quick.
Because he's got a lawsuit and all kinds of shit going on. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. I was wondering about that. What
so we'll crop that little bit out of what we just said there. Anyway,